Hello and welcome to this edition of Peake Life. I'm Elizabeth Vaughn, and today we're talking bugs with the bug boss here, Drita Simons, the director of the Mosquito Control Commission. Thanks for being here, Drita.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
So I'm already itchy just thinking about this topic, but let's kind of start with some background info. The Mosquito Control Commission. How does that work? It's a little bit different than a regular city department, so give us some info on that.
Exactly. The commission is not, we're not actually city employees, and the commission is not actually a city department, but we work very, very closely with the city. We use the same, a lot of things for public works. We use the same IT system. We use the same personnel, Chronos, timekeeping system. So a lot of the same systems we use, but we are funded a little bit differently, so we're not a city department.
Okay, how is it funded?
It is a dedicated tax for mosquito control.
Got it. That's some money worthwhile. We like to see them itching. We like to kill those bugs.
That's right.
All right. Tell me about what your staff does year-round, because mosquitoes aren't that prevalent all year long. You know, they kind of die down in the winter. So what do they do throughout the year?
Well, actually, there are mosquitoes around here all year long.
Okay.
First of all, just a little bit of biology, I promise.
Please.
Just a little bit.
Please.
Okay? There's more than one type of mosquito. There are many, many different species of mosquitoes. Some of them overwinter as larvae or immature mosquitoes. And so we can work on those mosquitoes in the wintertime, actually. And we can treat the standing water for mosquito larvae in the wintertime. Also, as many people know, we do a lot of drainage maintenance. We do a lot of, we go out with pole saws and chainsaws and clear waterways so that the water can keep moving, because all mosquito larvae need stagnant water to develop. If we can get the water moving, they're not as apt to lay their eggs there and develop. So we do a lot of that in the dead of winter when it's cold, and when, you know, things are slowing down, we do that too. So there are things that we do all year long, and everybody knows during the summer we're fighting all these different species of mosquitoes. We do many, many, many things during the summer. But what everybody thinks is that we get in the truck and drive around at night and spray out of the back.
Yeah, I see that truck around.
Right, and that's probably the most visible thing that we do.
Yeah.
But that is the last thing that we do to fight mosquitoes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, tell me what else you do.
Well, once again, the drainage maintenance is really important, and we call that source reduction. We're getting rid of the source of the mosquitoes.
Okay.
If you call in, let's say you called in, you have a mosquito problem, you don't know what it is, you just got mosquitoes and you're worried about it, and you have them around your home. One of our inspectors will come out, one of our pesticide applicators will come out, he will do an inspection at your home, he will try to find any containers that you might have in your yard that are catching rainwater and breeding mosquitoes, and he will educate you so that you know to dump those out once a week to kill those mosquito larvae. Then if you have a bad Asian tiger mosquito infestation, he will spray your yard one time. And the reason is because we want to find the source, get rid of the source, get rid of the adult mosquitoes that are bothering you, and after that you can take care of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, this is a huge city, so you know, we can't expect every household to have personal service like that, and it sounds like a big part of what you do is that education. That we can do a lot to help ourselves.
Absolutely. And while we're doing that, we're also looking at flooded areas. We're treating large areas of stagnant water for mosquito larvae. We have an extensive mapping system where we have a schedule where we go out and we treat this large area with a pesticide that will release slowly over a long period of time.
Oh, wow.
So we'll go back there once a month or once every 40 days or something and treat that. And we use specialized equipment to do that. We have ATVs, we have Argos. This is one of the favorite jobs I know of our people. They love to go out on the Argo.
Absolutely.
But we'll go out on, for example, right-of-ways for electric right-of-ways. They've got electric right-of-ways. We will go on those because very often you'll have water standing there, and you'll see us going down the line and spraying or applying the pesticides along the stagnant water there. So that's called larviciding. We do a lot of that. Our biology laboratory is constantly going out and checking things. They monitor mosquito populations. Remember, there's more than one species. And some of them aren't a problem, but some of them are.
Oh.
And so they set traps on a weekly basis, and they take samples of the mosquitoes, bring them into the lab. Then they'll find out, they'll sit and they'll figure out what they have. They will talk to the district supervisors and say, hey, you got a problem here, here, and here.
Oh, wow.
And with adult mosquitoes, then the district supervisors will send out, finally, those ULV trucks.
Okay.
So it depends on what the biologists find, and it also depends on citizen calls. We do not ignore people. If you've got a problem, we really want to know about it because we can't be everywhere.
Right.
So we take into account those phone calls also.
Okay.
And we might send a truck out based on those. So there are a lot of different things happening before we get to that truck.
Well, let's talk about the actual pesticides because people hear that word and they get nervous, especially now with all the talk of bees. Tell me more about the pesticide itself and how it doesn't destroy everything out there and its effect on humans.
First of all, the main pesticide that we use in those trucks at night is a reduced risk, environmentally reduced risk pesticide. It's labeled that by the EPA.
Okay.
So we go for whatever is reduced risk, and we try to minimize the risk to any what we call non-target species.
Okay.
Just about any mosquito adulticide or any mosquito spray that you put out there, if used incorrectly, will hurt pollinators, okay? They're insects. However, we try to start as late in the evening as we can, as we practically can, because bees will settle down and go to the hive.
Okay.
Okay, so especially if we're working in a more rural area, you'll see us later, maybe right after the sun's gone down, or maybe even 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So that we avoid those pollinators. Plus, there's a whole science as to if you've got this species, they're active at this time, and we go out at this time. Yes, it's very complicated. It's not nearly as simple as most people think it is.
Right.
So, number one, it's a reduced risk pesticide. Number two, we try to avoid spraying at times when the pollinators are going to be busy and out. And number three, our applicators who come to your home and check your backyard are highly trained. We go over it all the time. And one of the things that I do this, I said, do not spray anything with flowers.
Oh, okay.
So if someone calls and they come to their home and what they're supposed to do is look around. If they've got a bad enough problem and they've determined that they need to spray the yard, they will walk around the yard and spot the flowers.
Okay.
And absolutely avoid any of those places.
And that sounds like good advice to the homeowner who wants to go to the home store, buy their own pesticides.
Exactly.
So this is not something where you want to just dump it all,
Right.
and hope for the best. You want to follow those directions.
Absolutely. Read the label. That's our
Speaking of labels,
Bible. Yes.
What is this? Tell me about this.
This is a product, and the active ingredient here, I'm going to say this not to impress you, but I'm just going to read it. Bacillus thuringiensis subspecies israelensis strain 144.
Oh, God bless you.
Right.
Okay.
Anything that starts with bacillus is a natural pesticide.
Okay.
It is a bacterial spore. And what it is this is ground up corn cob, and they attach it to this corn cob.
Oh.
This is something that any citizen can buy, and I'm sure that this is one form. I'm sure that people have also seen something that looks like a little donut. They're called dunks. Okay, same thing.
Okay.
You can buy it at your home improvement store. And if you have something that you cannot dump the water out once a week, for example, I have a fountain at home. That's why this is mine.
Okay, yeah.
I have a fountain at home. I will put a little bit of this in the fountain once a week. If you have a very heavy flower pot with a tray under it, and you just can't lift it up and dump it out once a week.
I have those. That's great.
You can put some of this in the tray.
Okay.
And this will keep the larvae. The larvae will still hatch, but as soon as they eat this, it will kill the larvae.
Perfect.
Right.
Gotta get rid
So
of them.
either dump it out or get something like this and treat it.
Great, and follow the directions.
Read the label and follow
Yes.
the instructions. And also, I would like to request this time of year especially, people are mowing their lawns.
Yeah.
Please do not dump your lawn clippings into your ditch.
Absolutely.
Because that will clog up the ditch, will have stagnant water, and that particular situation is one that is ripe for West Nile virus mosquitoes. They love grass clippings, really polluted water that's stagnant. If you see something like that, you need to let us know so we can come and treat it, but avoid it at all costs.
Also a good message to citizens. We tell them not to dump anything in the storm drains or ditches.
Exactly.
Not just because of environmental pollution, not just because of flooding, but now because you don't want the mosquitoes to come.
Exactly.
So you said something before we started about West Nile, and these little babies right here that are like less than a feet away from me, tell me what these guys are all about.
This particular species of mosquito is the common brown house mosquito, and they are the ones that around here will transmit West Nile virus. Ugh. And these are the ones, these little immature larvae down in this stagnant water will emerge eventually as adult mosquitoes that you see up here.
So this is just the perfect example of what's going to be in that ditch if you let it get all clogged up.
That's right. If you ever look at a container or anything, any type of water, and you see these things that look like little worms hanging from the surface of the water, those are mosquito larvae, and we need to get rid of them as soon as possible.
Let's talk briefly about the diseases that they carry. You know, it wasn't long ago that Zika was all over the news, and of course you said West Nile virus, there's triple E, I believe. So talk to me about these diseases. Are they still a concern? Are we still worried about them?
Absolutely. Especially triple E and for me, West Nile virus is the biggest concern probably.
Okay.
West Nile virus hasn't been in the United States that long, and it's only been in Virginia since the early 2000s.
Wow.
And it seems, and believe it or not, we haven't had enough information since it was introduced to know what kind of an activity cycle. Diseases like this generally go through cycles where you have a peak of activity and then the next few years it'll go down and then it'll come up again. And since 2012, West Nile virus seems to be on a 3-year cycle. So 2012 we had a peak, 2015 we had a peak. This is in human cases, okay? Human cases. And last year, 2018, was the highest number of West Nile virus cases that we've had in Virginia ever. Okay? Now, once again, our history isn't long enough yet. We can't take this and say, well, you know, it won't be until the next 3 years.
Right,
okay?
right.
But it looks like a 3-year cycle right now. Having said that, though, these mosquitoes have been very numerous very early in the season. So that always is worrisome when you find so many of them so early. And, of course, we broke all kinds of temperature records in May. And when it's really, really hot, the virus that they carry amplifies and spreads much more quickly.
And that's part of why you have those researchers in the commission, is you're tracking this, you're looking for West Nile, Zika, anything else like that.
They actually test the mosquitoes. We have an it's called a field test, but actually they use it in their biology lab, where when they identify these West Nile virus mosquitoes, they will test them and see if they're carrying it. We also have sentinel chickens out in the field because part of the cycle of the West Nile virus and triple E is through the bird population. So if our chickens are exposed to this disease, it doesn't make them sick, doesn't hurt them, but we can take a blood sample from them and tell if they've been infected.
Oh my gosh, how interesting.
And so the good thing about that is that bird has not moved. It's been right there the whole time. So if we get a positive from a bird right there, then we know that the activity is increasing right there and we need to focus our resources right there. This is all about focusing our resources where they're needed the most.
Sure. All right, real quick, let's end on the question people always have. Is one person more tasty to a mosquito than another?
Yes.
How? How? Why? What can I do to not be so delicious?
Mosquitoes are attracted to different factors, okay? One of them is carbon dioxide. They're highly attracted to carbon dioxide. So if you're exercising all the time, if you've got a carbon dioxide cloud around you, they're going to be more attracted to you.
Okay. Don't exercise, done. Got it.
That's
what else?
easy, right? That's easy. Another thing is pheromones. We all exude different types of chemicals, okay? And we're not sure exactly what the mosquitoes love, but they seem to like lactic acid, and there are different pheromones that they like. Your cameraman was telling me that they ignore his wife and go straight to him.
Yes, you seem to see that happen.
He must smell better than her to these mosquitoes. It's all about chemicals.
Okay.
Now, if you want to get around that, use an insect repellent. Read the label.
Read the label.
Use it appropriately. But I just want to emphasize, it's much worse to get West Nile virus than it is to be exposed to the chemicals in a repellent.
So get something with DEET?
You can use something with DEET, or there are natural ingredients that also work. I believe oil of eucalyptus and lemongrass and things like that. They've been approved by the EPA as natural insect repellents.
Oh, very interesting.
And some repellents that you buy will have these natural ingredients. If you're going, though, in a place where you know there are going to be a lot of mosquitoes, you should use a serious insect repellent. Read the label, use as directed. Protect yourself and protect your family.
Trita, this is such good information. We could probably talk for a lot longer about it, but thank you so much for being here. Trita Simons, Director of the Mosquito Control Commission.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
I'm sure.
Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Peake Life. Hope you're not too itchy now. We'll see you next time.